Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel today. I'm Kevin and today we're back to our first word speak. So today we are going back to talk about the history. Just about history. In the last week we mixed a little bit of history and geography when we talk about the enters of the enters or the entrance from the other country into the First World War. But today we're going back to talk about the German and French. Just only two of them and about how they fight. But we are going to talk about, let's say, another plan, okay, another plan and another war from German to the ancient French, and that's called the battles of attrition. I don't know that if I say it right, but yeah, that's simply just the attrition war. Okay, so our main topic today is the attrition war between the German and Asian French at the Verdun city in May 1916 in February. Okay, so in February 1916, a German army of 1,000,000 men attacked the Asian French city of Verdun. Germany's commanders were trying to capture Allied territory or trying to take any advantage from them, but just to kill and defeat them all. They want to force them into a long and bloody battle so that they could grind them down to the last man. The German commanders, General Erich von Falkenhayn, believed the war had to be won on Western Front, and he was convinced that if his troops could rush and crush into the French territory, they could easily grind and kill them down. The other allies after that would be easily forced to make peace. So that was his plan. Falkenhayn knew that French troops had strict orders to never give up and fight to death to protect their territories. So they found a quick point in their defense and of course break into it. So, somewhere dangerous and difficult to defend, sitting on a salient in the Western Front, Verdun was exposed to German guns and on the artillery on three sides. Since Roman time, it has been protected by a ring of stone forts, but after the Roman time, the French government decided to move the stone away because thinking that they are useless in the modern world. So that thing is one of the things that take out the advantage of having a good defense of the French. Okay, so for supplies, the city and its 200,000 defenders rely on a few shell-platted roads, whereas the Germans had a rail depot just behind their line. And of course, this thing happened after after they start to they start to fight the war and start to make the first shot. So Falkenhayn made the Kaiser a chilling promise that for every man of German die on the battlefield, they will have to pay back 3 men. And of course, the whole army of French will absolutely being consumed. That's the promise. That's just a promise that the commander of German promised to the commander of French that they will absolutely and eventually consume and defeat all of the soldiers in French and will drawn in and consume. So that was the promise is. And after that, the German attack began with a massive 1,000-gun artillery barrage. German troops surged forward as soon as the shilling left, using flamethrowers to lure out the soldiers from the French, who is those who's hiding under the trenches to being safe from the artillery. From the artillery. And of course, the French fought bravely. But after that, on the third day, the Germans were just a few miles away from the city walls. In desperation, French generals appointed a new commander, General Philippe Pétain, to save Verdun. He worked around the clock to improve the artillery, demanding bigger, stronger, and better guns. And of course, he used thousands of trucks to bring supplies to the city so that they could keep on with the fight. The soldiers of French called this road, which is the road the troops used to deliver the supplies to the city, the La Voie Sacrée, which means the sacred way. Okay, keeping this way open is a patriotic mission for the French army from that time go on. Through March, April, and May, after the appointment of the new commanders of French, Germans had struggled to to break through the French resistance, but their troops were torn to pieces by Pigeons. The troop was torn by the artillery of Pigeons, and of course, Verdun started to slowly turning into a death trap for the attackers from Germany, with slaughter so shocking. Soldiers compare it to a mincing machine. Soldiers going to be bound by millions of shells. The battlefield had become featureless plain, and of course has a lot of mud and become let's say almost boiling. So fighting finally stopped in the early December, with the French recapturing their lost ground. And of course, this thing means that both sides has get what they want, but not the German at least. I mean, both sides still don't really lost all, but they don't take anything. Okay, some people lost what they get and then they get back, which means the French and German has take a few things, but after all they give all the territory back to the French. But in this war, even though there is nothing would get was get by the country or the government of both sides, still the casualties is come to a millions number. Millions of men from both sides were died, and of course there are also 100,000 more who is injured and missing. Falkenhayn, after that, knows that he has underestimated just how savage and tough the fight of Verdun would be. And of course, after that, the Kaiser of Germany was disappointed. And in August, he appointed two new aggressive commanders for the German, which is Field Marshal Paul von Hindenburg and General Erich von Ludendorff. Okay, so that's just simply what I want to talk with you guys today about the attrition war between the Germans and French. So this is a very simple and is a very short war with which we are compared by talking, but it is indeed a very intense and complicated war where both sides need to control the troops and also the supplies so that they can keep on for the war and keep pushing out for the enemies if they ever want to take more or take back what they lost. So everything was blamed and of course in action. But after all, the commanders of Germany, Falkenhayn, didn't expect that the French could be led by a new commander, which is so good. Who is so good that could pretend and also take back all advantage and territory that French have lost. Okay, so that's truly all I want to say with you guys today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And now it's time for us to say goodbye then. See ya.